which will be put to the Dáil this week on abortion. The Anti-Austerity Alliance People Before Profit Party want a referendum to repeal the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution. That's where the unborn child is given equal rights to the mother. The government have asked a Citizens' Assembly to examine the issue and to report to the Dáil by next June. Earlier this year, the Independent Alliance ministers secured a free vote on a different abortion bill, and that meant there was no agreed position within the Cabinet. Brid Smith is a TD with the AAA-PBP. She's in our studio this morning. Brid Smith, thanks for coming in to us.
Thank you.
The Citizens' Assembly, which is already up and running and already has started meeting, why not just let it do its work and report to the Dáil as agreed?
Well, the Citizens' Assembly, as you say, is up and running and has started meeting, and the Taoiseach told us under questioning that it would report back to the Dáil at the end of June next year. Now, we estimate that you could have up to 3,000 women having to travel abroad between now and then to procure abortions. And the question of repeal the Eighth Amendment is a very simple one. The bill doesn't say repeal the Eighth. What it says is allow a constitutional referendum, allow the people decide. And there are tens of thousands of young men and women in this country who weren't even born when the Eighth Amendment was inserted into the Constitution. And they are citizens. We believe that the real Citizens' Assembly is the Dáil itself, which was elected at the end of February, and that it is the Dáil ultimately that will have to make the decision to allow a referendum. So we're pushing this bill forward. And it doesn't contradict the Citizens' Assembly. It just says that the Dáil, if it was passed, has expressed the wish to allow for a referendum to repeal the Eighth, to give those tens of thousands of young people a chance to have a decision over something so fundamental in their lives.
Martina Fitzgerald was reporting to us earlier that in an effort to agree some form of compromise between the members of the government, that the Independent Alliance may ask for the Citizens' Assembly to report much earlier than agreed. Would you be agreeable to such a compromise?
Well, it's not whether we agree to the compromise or not. That's fine. The Citizens' Assembly should report much earlier. I agree with that sentiment, obviously. But I think the Independent Alliance and those within it should stick to their principles and stick to the commitment that over 70 TDs made to the Repeal the Eighth coalition prior to the election, which was that they would support a bill to allow for a constitutional referendum to repeal the Eighth Amendment. And I think they should stick to their principles, because really what they're doing is they're giving cover to the government to once again postpone something, suspend something that's very fundamental to why people elected this government. And I would urge them to vote the way they believe and not to make this compromise with Fine Gael.
In the last couple of days, or since this bill was tabled, have you spoken to independent TDs who support the government and who want a referendum on the Eighth Amendment? What have they said to you?
Well, they said various things like we haven't made up our mind yet, or that's still, that we let you know, or we still haven't talked about it. We have to talk to the rest of the government about it. And clearly since the weekend they've been doing a lot of talking and doing a lot of talking last night, so I haven't seen them since. But I'll certainly be urging Catherine Sapone, Finian McGrath and John Halligan in particular to stand with what they believe in and to vote with us for a constitutional referendum.
They took different positions when it came to the fatal fetal abnormalities bill. This was the different abortion bill, that was put to the Dáil earlier in this term. Catherine Sapone voted with the government that time, and the other members voted. They exercised a free vote. Would you expect them to do the same this time round, to be consistent with their position?
I think they may do that, but I think Catherine Sapone and the other independents, if they follow suit to what she did the last time, think they are being clever. But actually what they're doing is they're risking losing the question of repealing the Eighth Amendment, because we don't know what a Citizens' Assembly, which after all is only 99 citizens, as against the potential 3 million that have a right to vote in this country, we don't know what they're going to come back with. Whereas we do know it's a very simple bill. It just says allow the people decide, put a referendum to them on the question of the Eighth Amendment. It's not complex. It could be passed very quickly. The financial bill, which is going through the Dáil at the moment, is a very complex bill, and that will be passed very quickly. So why not do the same with this and give us that opportunity to vote?
If your bill is defeated, or if it's in a straight vote, either by a straight vote or by a counter motion by the government, as Martina was reporting that they're trying to agree on, will you put it again?
We haven't gone that far. We haven't thought that far ahead. But certainly today we're fighting for this. And again, I would call on all the TDs, and that includes TDs in Fine Gael and other independents that made a commitment to support a referendum for Repeal the Eighth, to vote with this bill today.
Brid Smith from the Anti-Austerity Alliance People Before Profit, thank you very much for coming into us this morning.